I want to tell everybody about this. Yesterday, we did a shoot for the break room, like for some, you know, images and some stuff for social media and whatever. And we worked with a new photographer. He's from Switzerland and he is amazing. Like, I just wanted to sit there and talk to him all day. So different. Like, culture is different, everything's different. But like, it is so great when you get the opportunity to work with people who are different from you.
Oh my God, so true. It's so
Yeah,
true. I enjoyed him so much.
I know,
What a
right?
great perspective. Young, fun, vibrant.
Yeah.
He's got his hands in all different things. Like he's an architect, right? But I was like, oh my God, he's bringing a whole new perspective to what we do. And being open to that, amazing, right? Also, just learning about somebody new.
And then seeing what he could bring to the table, I was like, fucking love this guy. This is great. Hi, guys. Welcome back to
Hi.
Hair Smarter, the podcast where we talk about everything that hair school forgot to teach you. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Sarajane, and today we're talking about something that every hairstylist experiences, whether you've been doing hair for 6 months or 30 years, working with people who are nothing like you.
Yeah. So maybe they're like 20 years older than you, or maybe they're 20 years younger. Maybe they're incredibly outgoing and you're quiet, or maybe they're quiet and you've convinced yourself they're, I don't know, unfriendly. Maybe they're ambitious in a way that feels exhausting to you. Maybe they're incredibly laid back and you wish they'd move a little faster. Maybe they see clients a little bit differently than you. Maybe they communicate differently from you. Or maybe they just believe things about the world that you strongly disagree with. At some point, every one of us looks across the salon and thinks, how can we be so different?
And what's interesting is I don't think that's a problem.
Hmm.
I think it's one of the greatest opportunities we'll ever have in our careers. Because if you stay in this industry long enough, you'll realize something. The salons that change you the most aren't usually the ones where everyone thinks exactly like you.
They're the ones that actually stretch you, right? Today, we're talking about how to let people be different without letting those differences become division.
Yeah, I want to start with a little confession.
Ooh, love that.
I have absolutely judged coworkers too quickly.
Well, you know what? I'm going to confess too. Me too. 5 minutes in, and I've already decided, they think they're intimidating. They're fake. They're lazy. They're a know-it-all. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, most of those aren't observations. They're stories. Stories we invent because our brains hate uncertainty. And if we don't know why someone behaves a certain way, our brain fills in the blanks, usually with something negative, sadly.
Actually, that's funny that you say that because there is a name for this. It's called fundamental attribution error, and it's one of the most replicated findings in social psychology. Here's a simple version, okay? So when someone else does something that bothers us, we assume it's because of who they are. But when we do the exact same thing, we blame the situation. If someone walks past us and doesn't say hello, I think, oh, God, she's so rude. If I walk past someone without saying hello, I'm thinking, oh, I'm just so overwhelmed. I have a client waiting. I got to get going, right? Same behavior, completely different explanation.
Yeah. And once I learned that, I started asking a different question. Instead of what's wrong with them, I started asking what might be going on that I can't see. That one question has saved me from so many unnecessary stories.
Yeah. Can you think of a moment when someone misunderstood you and how that changed the way you think about first impressions?
About somebody misjudging me?
Yeah. Like maybe someone misunderstood you and then that changed about, like, it gave you a little empathy, like, into other people, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely coworkers have come up to me in like the middle of the workday and have been like, "Oh, are you mad at me?" Or like, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Whoa, like, yeah, of course I'm okay." But I so get into this, like, I'm focused mindset at work and I like stay in my head. I'm like client focused at work and not focused what's going on around me at all. I'm totally guilty of that. And a lot of times I hear it from my coworkers. They're like, "Wait, what's going on with you?" Like, "Hello, where are you?"
I mean, you're focused, right? So you get into
Yeah.
it, and then people are like, oh, wow, she doesn't want to talk to me, like, whatever, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny because I can think of the other side of that. Like, I had a manager that actually was my manager at two different salons. So in the first salon, I was like, God, she is such a fucking bitch. I can't. I was like, she's so cocky. She's this, she's that, blah, 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 blah. Then 10 years later, she was the manager at another salon that I worked at. And at that point, getting to know her, I was like, oh, actually, she's not intimidating. And she's not, I mean, sometimes she's a little bitchy, but not as bitchy as I thought. But when I got to see, because I was in more of a leadership position at that salon, like the decision making that she was making behind the scenes, I was like, oh, got it. Okay, so this is why this is delivered this way, or this is why she says this, or this is why she has these boundaries. And I actually ended up respecting her way more than I did in the first salon. So it's funny, what like goes on in someone's head and then like the impressions that they make afterwards. I don't know.
Totally.
Think
The
like,
more you know.
yeah, the more you know, right? One of the biggest mindset shifts I've had over the years is realizing there isn't just one personality type that makes a great hairstylist.
Yeah, think about the best stylists you've ever worked with. Were they all the same? Not
Mm,
even close. Some barely spoke.
mhm.
Some never stopped talking.
Oh,
Some were
yes.
artists. Some were incredible teachers. And some were meticulous planners. And some thrived on chaos.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Harvard professor Amy Edmondson studied something called psychology safety. And I think it's one of the most misunderstood ideas in the workplace. People hear psychology safety and think it means everyone gets along, but it doesn't. It means people feel safe enough to ask questions, admit mistakes, offer ideas, and respectfully disagree without worrying they'll be embarrassed or punished.
Oh, gosh, that is such an important distinction because healthy salons actually don't avoid disagreement, right?
Mm-mm.
Healthy salons know how to disagree without making it personal. I've changed my mind because of coworkers before, not because they yelled louder at me, but because they gave me another way to think. So, I can think of a story about a coworker whose approach frustrated me at first, but eventually made it better. So there was this girl, Ren, who we worked with at Bumble, and we were both in a styling class together. And I was very much like, okay, here's what we're doing. Let's get it done, whatever. Like I'm much more of a faster worker than she is. And man, this girl, she took her time. Like she was in it. She did it with clients in the salon too. Like it
Mm.
just took forever, in my opinion. It took forever for her to like do the haircut, do the style, do the blow dry, section the hair, pick up her comb, all the things to the point where like it would almost irritate me because I was like, oh my God, just fucking do it. Hurry the fuck up. Right. But as I started to get to know her better, we actually became really good friends. And watching someone go slower and go deeper into things was actually a really interesting thing for me. Would I ever work as slowly as she did? Absolutely not. But it did make me slow down and it did make me think about things like fastest isn't always best. And, she may take less clients, but maybe she's building more trust than I am. She's refining things in a way that I hadn't thought about before. And it actually did make me change my work as well. Getting to know her as a person um, was also interesting because, we don't work the same way at all. But actually, she was really cool. We used to go to like these movies all the time and hang out. And like, yeah, it was actually like such a interesting thing because it was frustrating at first to watch, but then eventually it actually made me slow down a little bit and made me think about things a little bit, you know?
I love that. I think I don't have like a specific one person example. I think something that we got into conversation on our last episode about, our business and our careers aren't just skill, right? It's the personal aspect of it and it's the relationship aspect of it. That was something that was harder for me as a young stylist to like build.
Yeah.
And I think when I was younger, I didn't understand that. I was always like, why are you yapping so much? People
Mm.
just want their hair cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just cut their hair, give them the service that they want and like get them out, like time is
Yeah.
money. And coming from like Vidal Sassoon and everybody sort of works in a very similar way, right? Moving to another salon that had, multiple stylists coming from different education backgrounds and like
Oh, that's a good one.
really seeing how people approach a client experience, it was like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the relationship building aspect of this business is, I would say and argue that it's probably more important than the actual technical skill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I learned that early on because I wasn't always in that mindset.
Makes sense. It makes total sense. But then I think we should actually talk about like when differences actually feel bigger than hair, right? So something that's, I don't know, it's become harder definitely over the past few years, right? Working with
Oh, God.
people whose values or beliefs feel very different from your own. So what comes to mind originally or right now is like politics, right? Or maybe it's religion. Maybe it's parenting. That could also be a big one. Or maybe it's like social issues. Maybe it's how they think clients should be treated. Sooner
Mhm.
or later, you're going to encounter this.
Yeah. And here's where I think maturity comes in. Professionalism doesn't require agreement. It requires respect.
Oof, that is huge, right? So there was a fascinating workplace study published recently that looked at political differences between coworkers. So researchers found that the biggest predictor of conflict wasn't actually how different people's beliefs were. It was whether coworkers began seeing each other only through their beliefs. Okay.
Mm.
So when people could still see each other as complete human beings with shared goals and different experiences and multiple identities, the relationship held together much better.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you ignore disrespect or
Mm.
tolerate harmful behavior. Healthy boundaries still matter here, but it doesn't remind us that reducing someone to that one label almost guarantees you'll stop being curious about who they are.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have very like strong political beliefs for sure. And there is a woman that works in the same space at me that has very opposite political beliefs. And I feel like when I first started hearing that, 'cause you can hear each other talk, to each other's clients or whatever. And I was like, oh God, I don't know if I could do this, right? Because we're so divided these days between the two. And I don't know, it was really hard for like 6 months. I was like, I don't know what to like do about this. This is awful. Like also I don't want my clients to hear those beliefs because that's not what I believe in and I want to make sure that they know that and like blah 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 blah. Blah. But I will say this, and this has been the hardest thing during this past like year and a half, few years, is that I have to be so mindful of myself in getting in that one track mind, to be completely honest. Like, listen, this woman that I work with, she's kind. She comes early, stays late. She takes care of every single client like they are the only person in the entire world when her clients come in. She's kind and she's respectful to me, and we talk to each other and we say hello and all of the other things. We talk about hair, and she has a daughter, right? Like all of these things, she is a complete person because I don't agree with her politics, like I said, was very hard right now, doesn't mean that she's not a complete person who's kind and has empathy. And that's a really big deal to think about that. You really have to push yourself because it's so easy just to try to be around people that are like you.
So true. It's so true. One thing I've noticed about the people I admire most is
Mm.
they're curious. And it's not just about hair, but they're curious about people.
Oh, God. I'm the exact same way, honestly. Like, that makes my entire day. And you're right. That's who you admire most, right? And
Yes.
research, just because I like to bring up research, on high performing teams consistently show that the strongest teams aren't the ones with like the smartest individuals, right? They're the ones where people ask more questions, make fewer assumptions, and stay curious longer. Curiosity slows down judgment. It just does. And judgment is often what creates distance between coworkers.
So true. So imagine replacing, why are they like that? With, I wonder what they've experienced that brought them here. And that's a very different conversation.
Can you think of like a mentor or someone in your life whose life experience changed the way you view the industry? Or if you have like a moment when asking one more question completely changed your understanding of a coworker, something like that?
I mean, I really think this is like life skills. I definitely agree with this one statement. Just asking more questions all the time
Mm,
eases so much anxiety. It definitely eliminates judgment because you create
mm,
a better understanding of who's in front of you, right?
hmm
I think being curious for me is my like life work right now.
mm.
It's just something that I'm focusing on in every aspect of my life. It's like, be curious about who's around you, be curious about the people that you want in your life, like long term, right?
Yeah.
Asking more questions is always better than just like we talked about making up stories in your mind. Like, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
and surprisingly, like when you do ask more questions, it's kind of great. This is actually one of my favorite things to do with clients. Like, whatever about the small talk, I get that that's part of the job for sure, right? Especially when you're new with clients. But what I love most, and I say this all the time to clients when they ask me, what I love most about our job is that I get to see 10 different people with
Yes.
10 different passions or
Yes.
educations or whatever a day.
Backgrounds.
Yeah. I leave the day a fuller person and I've learned something for sure. Even if it was like, I mean, I don't know anything about chemical engineering, but I am interested in like why you love it so much. So let me ask questions about that. It's not about how do I look in this conversation? It's more like, wow, I'd really like to know about that. Why do you love that? So sometimes I ask clients instead of being like, how's work? How's everything going? What are you up to this summer? I will ask the question, what are you working on right now that you're super excited about? And it feels weird when you first ask that, but let me tell you, they get off and running because everyone's working on something that they're super pumped about, you know? And sometimes they
Totally.
need like a little bit more cues or whatever, but you really get to know someone that way. And I was been doing this with clients for a long time, but I forgot to do it with coworkers. And yeah, that's really important, you know? I also forgot to do it with family.
Yeah.
And like those are the things that make your life feel full and more grounded is when you see all the people around you as full human beings instead of just being like, oh, they're this or oh, they're that, right?
Yeah. And let's go back to why we even called this the break room, right?
Yeah.
Is because collectively, wherever you may be working, whether you're working with 3 stylists or 15 stylists, you have a collection of experience and education to grow off of. Like,
Yeah.
use that because you can only just expand your horizons and become a better stylist yourself. Like, be curious about your coworkers' education, about what they've learned and how they learned and why they're using that skill that you may think looks like ridiculous. I used to always get offended when people would break out those boards and paint on like those big long boards. I'm like, that looks so ugly. Like, why would you do that? When I learned why people do that, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. You know?
Totally.
Keep
and
on
where did that come?
doing it.
Just
Okay,
asking
fine.
questions, right?
Yes.
And then it changes your mind.
Yeah.
And being on the other side of that, when someone has tried to put you in a box or put you in a label, it doesn't feel good.
No.
I mean, we had that experience recently when we were trying to hire someone to market our classes, and like they didn't ask us any questions. They didn't want to know about our company. Like they were just like, oh, well, I think you should do this and I think you should do that. And you could be like this kind of specialist. And we were like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
That's
because
not
we're a
my-
whole ecosystem as a company. And that's a really good lesson because everyone has their own internal ecosystem. So, yeah, you know what? Politics are fucking hard right now. They're hard and people judge and all that. Also, parenting's probably hard. I don't know because I don't have kids, but you do. I'm sure you've heard somebody talk about parenting and you're like, what? I would never do that, right? There's a lot of judgment in that. I mean, listen. I hear it at the dog park. I do have a dog and I'm very judgmental.
I bet.
Or maybe religion, or I don't know. I don't really get into those kind of discussions very often. But like, social media makes us like try to listen for keywords that people say and then code them as something. And that's not what being human is. It's not. People are full things. And the workplace, honestly, like, it's a place where so many different kinds of people are going to be, and it's all about respect. So I guess the final takeaway is the longer that I've been in this industry, the less interested I am in surrounding people who think exactly like I do.
Yeah. And the more interested I am in surrounding myself with people who care deeply about the work, who respect clients, and who are willing to learn, and who can disagree without making it personal. I think that is a huge one.
That is huge, right? Because the goal isn't to build a salon where everyone is the same. Everyone has the same life. Everyone addresses work the same way. Everyone cuts a bob the same way, right? I might get a little pushback on that, but it's true. The goal is to build one where different people can do great work together.
Yeah. And honestly, that's what makes our industry interesting.
Yeah. So if this conversation resonated with you, we'd love for you to keep learning alongside us, right? Like, this is important. There are dozens of conversations just like this waiting for you on Hair Smarter. So take a listen. We explore different parts of the profession that no haircutting classes ever actually teach.
Yeah. And if someone popped into your head while you were listening today, a coworker, a mentor, an apprentice, a salon owner, or a friend, send them this episode. These conversations are how healthier salon cultures start.
And if you're ready to take what you've learned to an even deeper level, visit It's the Break Room Learning Center at itsthebreakroom.org. That's where we offer classes designed to help you build the communication, leadership, and critical thinking skills that support a long, meaningful career behind the chair.
Thank you for spending part of your day with us, and we'll see you on Hair Smarter.
Right. See you then.
Bye.